When people think of the apex predator of Asia, Tyrannosaur-wise, they will always think of this animal, Tarbosaurus, which I can get that, very respectable. 10 to 12 meters is quite respectable, and 4 to 5.5 tons, that makes this animal a monster in its own right. Within China, another predator ruled, and this one could probably send Tarbosaurus running for its money. This animal being Zhuchang tyrannus magnus. The name of Zhuchang tyrannus translates to the tyrant from Zhuchang. As you could probably guess, this animal does belong to the same family as T-Rex, the superfamily known as Tyrannosauroidea. And this animal was no slouch either. Lengths put this animal around 10.5 meters long. It would have been the largest predator in its ecosystem, with nothing really around to challenge this monster. Its remains were found in 2009, but it wasn't named until 2011. Very fun fact, that was the same year I was born. And for such an epic animal, the only thing we have to know of this animal's existence is the holotype ZCDM V0031, which are just upper and lower jaws. You could also say very fragment pieces of its skull. However, in 2025, scientists had actually found another femur bone, which had measured 1.21 meters long. Like other members of its family, it had evolved bone-crushing bite for hunting, not like allosaurs with their razor blades for teeth, but just bone-crushing bites. Its closest relatives were Tarbosaurus and T-Rex, following basically the same body plan. Small arms built but packed with muscles, and a sturdy tail to help it keep balance so it didn't topple over and fall. And like T-Rex and Tarbosaurus, it may have gone through a stage through its life where it just started packing on the pounds of meat to reach adulthood. And its senses were probably a very good sense of smell for hunting, binocular vision, none of that Jurassic Park stuff where it couldn't see you if it didn't move. 100% in the world, this thing could see you and chase after you if you lived at the same time as Zhuchang tyrannus. Its home was most likely like a lush, humid, warm, tropical environment covered in forest with plenty of plant life and biodiversity, the plants for the herbivores, but also these trees could hide carnivores. Some of these plants are not limited to cycads, ginkgos, and at this point in the Cretaceous, flowering plants. Just look how beautiful they are. Animals that lived with it are also crocodilians. Come on, they've been here since the Triassic and are still around today. They are not going anywhere. Also, turtles were living with Zhuchang tyrannus. Not these ones, probably more like land turtles, but these were the only turtles I could find. However, there is still, to this day, no direct evidence that mammals lived with Zhuchang tyrannus. But however, we did have dinosaurs living with this fantastic beast. Sorry, I was out of breath there. Now, as I was saying, one dinosaur I believe Zhuchang tyrannus would avoid at any cost, as a full-grown adult would be this dinosaur. Meet Shantungosaurus giganteus. This was the biggest animal, well, the biggest dinosaur that was not a sauropod. And right there next to it stands a T-Rex. So just like get a perspective of how big this animal really was. Do not let this animal being a herbivore, do not underestimate it, is what I am trying to say. Just ask this Zhuchang tyrannus right there by its feet. And of course, you cannot have a tyrannosaur ecosystem without a ceratopsian. Say hello to Sinoceratops. This animal was actually 6 meters long and 1.622 metric tons in weight. So not a small guy, but not the biggest of its family. Unlike Triceratops and Torosaurus, this animal had only one big gouging horn at the front of its face, and was likely Zhuchang tyrannus' main food source. However, thanks to changes in the environment and the ecosystem, the meteorite did not wipe out this fantastic animal. Climate change did. So that's all I have to say for this epic Tyrannosaur. I hope if you made it to the end, please consider dropping a like and subscribing so you stay up to date with all my content and my edits. I do a lot on this channel, just trying to go. We're so close to 100 subscribers. And last thing, quick shout out to Goji the Tyrannosaur for giving me the idea to do this video. Thank you, man.